We we will. I'll start this off real quick, Tony, and then we can start, then I'm passing it back to you, okay? Okay, thank you all for being here. Let's see, we need to, roll call first, was that correct?
Roll call.
Thank you.
Okay, I already know. You have to figure out how to stop that. Do you mute your phone?
It's gonna be confusing as hell.
Yeah.
If is Luann's phone muted?
Yeah.
Okay. You,
No, it's not. Okay, now talk, Tony.
okay.
Okay. Tony, Dave's gonna call you.
Well, what about now? I did something.
No.
No, it's still an echo.
Okay.
Okay, let me hang you up and see if Dave can.
Tell him mute.
Hey,
Tell him to mute his computer.
Oh, mute your computer.
It was muted. Can you hear me through Zoom now?
No,
You can't hear me through Zoom?
no.
Okay. Can you? I don't know what to do.
Let me try going.
Welcome to the village board meeting.
Technology is
We're working on it.
when it works.
Hello?
Okay, how's that?
Here's what you can do. You can mute the microphone on Zoom, but then you won't be able to record it. You know, I'm just going to be quiet. And Dave, can you just rock and roll?
That's a laugh. We're starting out with jokes now.
Well, maybe just mute until you need to talk and I'll put you as the focus instead of us and we'll see you waving or something.
It's stupid.
I've never done this before. David. Yeah, and then when you need to talk, you can wave at us or something, and then that way we'll just deal with it.
Is he totally on silent?
That's
Can you
the
hear
way
me?
we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, but we got a terrible echo in here. That's the problem. Anybody that, how about testing? Testing, how about you, Colin?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just got a terrible echo.
Hold on. Let me try this. You still can't hear me through Zoom.
No, you
Can't hear me?
Oh, there. Oh.
yeah, go ahead. Testing.
That thing, yeah.
Now
Testing.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Can I go away? Yeah.
Yes, you can go away. You can go away. I mean, hang up. Don't go away.
All right, I'm gone. Can you still hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sounds good. All right, we're rolling. Yeah. It's good. Okay, now let's call this meeting to order one more time. 5:37.
Ron Weiss,
Here.
Dave Pugh,
Here.
Luann Ruck,
Here.
Mina Jones, here, Tony Baldridge.
Here.
Pledge allegiance of the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Tony, I think I'm gonna try to turn it on to you if you can. Do you have?
Well, we'll give it a try here.
All right, thank you.
All right, my first item is to review and approve the January 14 minutes. So I guess we need a motion when people are ready to approve those minutes.
Well, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes from the January 14th.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now to reports from committees. I don't have anything right now. Dave, do you want to jump in there and
reports on committees, is that where we're off to, or am I already on then, or?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
you're on.
Okay. I'm gonna get my goodies here. Sorry. Much. Do I have something from? Our sheriff's department.
Should look like this, it was right at order for you.
Yes, sir.
There should be a January and a February.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We go into the building report for the inspection report for February. In 2025, we had $19,200 for the permit revenue. In 2026, I guess this isn't a typo error, we have 2,950.
We have the
And that makes a minus, it says over here, so it's not a typo, it's a negative of 16,250.
But that was because we had 3 big expensive bill jobs, right?
Yeah,
We had the triplex there at Hayes,
yes,
was it last February?
yeah.
And then the last 3 months, we've had nothing coming in, no hardly, full like 9 permits. This month, we are starting to
Pick up.
Pick up.
pick back up in the.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Permit revenue year to date, again, there's 24,000 last year, it's 3,500 this year, so. Building permits processed 6 last year, 6 this year. But again, in those 6, there was some big buildings there. So anyway, that's a pretty low numbers for this time of year, and of course, it's just the beginning of the year, so hopefully things start to crank up a little bit. So I'm gonna move to the sheriff department. If I can see anything on this, I don't really see a report from Jimmy, do I?
Set these.
We just sent these, okay, so let me just see if I could pick up anything that's suspicious or news or whatever, if anybody sees anything, I'll let you jump in too.
Looks like that calls for
Calls for service, calls for service, yeah, 89, reports taken 51, arrests 21. Deputies, we have, and the deputy numbers, interesting numbers, one deputy had 245 miles. One had 2,400 miles, one had, actually 3 of them had about 2,400 miles, so. They're still out here driving the streets. And I do see this, I see their presence
Yeah,
more
me too.
than it used to be, okay? I don't think I have anything else on mine, Tony, I think I'm out.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Any questions for Mr. Purdue? Not Ron?
Anything I have, we're gonna, is on the agenda for later, so, we talk about that stuff later.
Okay. Luann,
Okay, as
finance.
far as our finances, as far as ARPA is concerned, we've almost spent all our money. We have $2,948.79. And all that will go to Trillium when we finish the soft ground. So and everything has been turned in, through our consultant, and we're in good standing. So once this money's gone, it's gone. Okay, and it was all, certified and approved. Okay. If you look at budget versus actual for January to February, keep in mind that when we set up the budget, for monthly expenditures, we just divide it by 12. Now, your income and your expenses will vary, as we enter the spring and summer months, and then go back down to the fall and winter. So as far as building permits, we are down to date, but it's kind of interesting, our sales tax is down a little bit compared to what our budget was, but then when I get to the next report, it's totally a different answer on that. So I'll explain that in a minute, and it's strictly because of that flat 12-month division. As far as the overall income, the income is down $7,664.40, and that's across all 3 budgets. Then when you look at our expenses, they are down, so our within each category, within each bucket or budget. There's some that go up and some that go down, but when we look at our net income. For the first 2 months, we're ahead by $12,789.05 compared to the budget. Okay, so we're in good standing there. I'm not concerned about anything that I'm seeing. When you look at the statement of financial income and expense, they're comparing January and February of last year to January and February of this year. The general income is down, and that is because, as we talked about the building project in February 25, and that kind of skews our number. But this, I think will balance out. Sales tax revenue from last year to this year, we were ahead by $10,000. And this month, again, we took in more money than we took in two of the 3 other years. So it's the second highest number we've had at this point in time. Over the last 4 years, because I keep a spreadsheet of every year so I can see how it progresses. Let's see. And then the February number is good, but it won't be deposited until probably next week, or this week and next week, the end of this week and next week. So our total income compared to last year is $353 ahead. And expenses are slightly up in all 3 funds. But that's understandable because of some of the things that we've incurred, with the with salaries, with increases or changes in the way that we've set up our webpage and our IT situation. Also, the biggest thing that's throwing it up is we have purchased all the tape of benches and grills and all the stuff that you see out in the pavilion that hit in January. So that was something that made us look like we had spent too much money compared to last year, but it was to complete the project for the pavilion. So I have no concerns on that, even though the net income is showing a negative $18,630 compared to last year. We didn't have the pavilion last year, so we should be okay as far as budgets are going, and if not, we'll correct as we go.
Good, great. Hey, we had one of the Indians just show up from the sheriff's department. And Jimmy, you have a few things there in your thing. So Jimmy Elton is his name. I know you can't probably see him on camera, but if he can slide in.
I can see it. I can see a smiling face. We're good.
Okay. All right, we'll let him fall back into the sheriff's department. Go ahead.
I'll start that one, like,
Thank you. You're all right.
basically, for January, the typical January, if you compare your January stats to your December stats, the calls are down just slightly from 154 in December to 133 in January. Basically, reports were up about twice as much in January than it's done in December. The rest were about the same. Your business checks and all that stuff were the same. Traffic stops are similar. There are 13 village tickets wrote during the month of January compared to 19 in December. And looks like there was 8 emotionally disturbed persons called in January out here. 6 domestic disputes, 3 drug arrests, and there was 1 call, a burglary first degree, where an ex-boyfriend broke into a residence and assaulted the new roommate. I don't know if they're new boyfriend or what. Assaulted him, tried to choke him out, damaged a whole bunch of property. The guy was stopped as he left the apartment and he went to jail. That's January. February. Call or go down.
This is why we should give a month a meeting.
Yeah.
My comparative stat sheet, I apparently left on my. So,
You want to see mine? Got it.
I don't think, hopefully I emailed Danielle the right ones this morning. Comparing January to February. Calls for service were down in February. Only 89 calls for service compared to 133 in January. Reports were down just slightly as well. But your arrests were up. There's 21 arrests compared to 14 in January. Your business checks and stuff are about the same. Traffic stops were up a little bit. And there's 12 police tickets wrote compared to 13 in January. And it looks like there was only 2 EDP calls in February, only 2 domestic calls in February. Looks like there were 7 DWI arrests out here and 4 drug arrests, and there was 1 sexual assault. Give me a second. So, that's pretty well the short, quick summary of January and February.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Jim, appreciate it.
Thanks, Jimmy. Okay, Luann, thank you. Any questions for Luann? If not, Renita?
On the emergency management. We got the both generators, the small mobile is up and running last of January, we got that done, we got paid for it, it's working, the full core got fixed, the large permanent generator out here did get service earlier in February. Cummins came out and did a review of it, checked it out. Ran a test on it when it was fully loaded, like it would be if we needed it. And it's all okay, we got it up running also. There are they've set it onto a weekly testing pattern, so every week on Monday. I think at 7:30 it starts and then runs a little test run just to make sure it's going, so if there's a hiccup, we'll know sooner than waiting, finding that out later. Also, one thing, Cummings did provide an available planned maintenance service pricing sheet, and I forgot to get around to present to this meeting, so I'll get it and give it to for the April meeting. So that trustees can look at it and check on that. Then storm sirens, they're all doing good, but I did touch base with Bryce from Outdoor Warning Consulting, who does our storm sirens, about the public broadcasting. And so on that, we will be able to actually start now using a handheld radio, because that's the way we'd have to do it. So I'm gonna be meeting with Paul Rader this Friday. And so this is one of the topics we're gonna talk about, seeing about progressing that along. The plan is I figure what we'll do is Paul and I will touch base with the fire department, the road district, and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this in case you guys ever need it. Because our call usage of it will really be based on if there's something happening out here with the fire department that they don't have control, or if the road's totally closed down somewhere, so we can let the residents know, don't even try to get out, or get out because there's a fire on the road, whatever. So that's the main purpose, I feel, for emergency management, something the village can offer, additional things. So we'll touch base with those entities that we can think of to let them know and get feedback from them. Then also, so let's see, on emergency management. Oh, I mentioned that Paul and I are gonna meet this Friday and start getting things together, look over what we can, additional stuff, address the broadcasting, and then other things we need, supplies or whatever, just to try to see how to start trying to recruit some residents to maybe help be involved with emergency management, just volunteer stuff. And then also schedule one of those public informational preparedness meetings. Have those, because the last one we had was last April, so we'll try to get that kind of moving, a better handle on that. And let's see what else. I think that is on the gardens. The gardens, I had already selected some of the ornamental grasses, so I've marked those to get removed because they were blocking visions and stuff. So I've done that, and then I've already got started my notations of the different flower beds of where not to plant annuals, because they don't do very good in certain parts of flower beds. So I figure I'll mark that, present it to whoever's handling gardens. In the future, and that's it for me.
Hey, Renita, thank you so much. Any questions for Renita?
No.
If not, we'll move on to unfinished business, and I think, Renita, you're back out here with the Village Hall Interest Monument.
Yes, so the village monument, a couple of things in your packet, and I didn't. I couldn't read this one that was here from Heartland very well, that was attached to this email. And then I'm not seeing, unless you guys have in your packet, I'll go to the one first, go to the pillar and column one. We'll get the sign one next. Pillars and column, yeah, yeah, that's part of it, and then there's like two emails, but the one that says attachment number 1 and 2, and then there's another one that says Heartland. These two, now what I've done, because I couldn't read this very clearly, and this one I didn't actually see a estimate from Nelson's in here. I went ahead and made you guys a packet. For clarity, I went 1, 2, 3 purposes, so I'm just going to pass those down. So what I started out with, the packet you just got handed. On the front, Ron and I got together, I think it was Monday, and I had built a little template of like a fake column and put paper around it, so I had more of a visual, I could present it a little bit better. So that's kind of how it would look, the first one, me standing there with holding the sign. Now, the sign that we asked for pricing is 48 inches long. So that's the distance that it'll be where these columns are standing. And so the sign there I'm holding will be a little bit wider. And then also it will be just about 2 or 3 inches taller on that. And then we just did another picture of it on the flat so you could kind of see it a little better, the fake columns. So then the next item in the group there is an estimate from Heartland. And pretty much what I've done is he just took his estimate he gave us in October, and he just kind of sent it back just based on one set of columns, 2 columns versus before we originally were looking for. I did at the top, he couldn't change the date at the top because of QuickBooks, and I guess he's not that familiar with doing it. So I checked with him, he said, yeah, just put it on the date of his email. But this is his deal, and what he's got, if you, he's got the blocks listed and the caps, and that, so the pillars will be 22, and if you go a little bit further in your packet, the very last page of your whole packet, I just say there's a comparison sheet between Heartland and Nelson's. So Heartland's is the columns 22 inches by 22 by 5 feet. October is 20 by 20. Heartland changed it to 22 by 22 because it saved money actually, because they don't have to cut blocks in more often. You know, they go into 20 by 20. The caps are the same, it is 24 inches by 24. The base has always been 30 inches by 30 by 4 thick, and then on the downslope, you will increase the height of that base so that the columns are level. The matrix tumbled stones, and if you look at his estimate, the packet that has an estimate, he has a drawing, but there's also in there a picture of the stones. They're gonna be kind of rough looking, but kind of like that tumbled look. And on that display of the color, I've circled the colors that he has listed on his estimate of what they have available. So we can decide on the color. Then it'll be blocks secured by glue. The color, you got several choices, same way with the cap. The cap, you pretty much only have like 2 choices on the cap. And then the picture didn't come out very good. One's just a limestone and the other one has a little bit of a brown to it, a tan to it. Okay, so we were going with vertical posts between the 2 columns. And Heartland was gonna do a 6 by 6 by 6. And it's gonna be built into the block, the columns. So where that space is, he's gonna stick the block where, the post where a block should go and put it far enough in there so it'll be stable between the 2 columns. So that, now he does have it to where, he is, I guess it's not a treated 6x6 post, and so we can stain it. He said you guys can stain it yourself to paint it or whatever you guys wanna do with it on it. He said if we wanna go just by a 4x4x6, then it'll just reduce the cost some, on that. Even though increasing the concrete height on the one downside, to probably balance out the pricing. So that's his quote, his estimate on that. And he does have the pricing down there, 6,883. So that's his bid. Then we go to Nelson's. And Nelson's, his is a 20x20 inch, which was their original dimension, which I don't think there's a problem with that. You know, if we decide to go there. His caps are 24x24, and I think they're also 1.5 inches. Base is a 22x22. I kind of like Heartland's because their base is a little bit wider. I just feel like it's more secure, more stable, but don't know a whole bunch about detailed stuff on construction. Nelson is going with that Versalock. And in your packet under his Nelson's packet, you'll see a picture that has it in there of what Midwest Stone has on supply there. That tall one there, and those are the colors. There's two, the top ones is I can't remember what they call that, but then you got the two charcoal, the two kind of brownish, and then the two grays at the bottom. And they put the two together there because, as we know, the blocks can vary, by coloring. So that is Nelson's, and then he's gonna do blue also. Same deal, different colors. His caps are also in his packet that shows you either the real rough edging or the more less rough. It's not totally smooth, it's. Then he has quoted a 4x4x6 treated post. Now he's planning on doing the post by putting brackets on the columns. And he also, by doing that, because we went to 5 feet, the requirement for building a 5-foot column like that, he has to install rebar and concrete inside the column for extra support and strength because of the height of the column. The brackets is gonna be made out of steel. They're gonna be custom fabricated by Dam Steel, he said. And then he mentioned on the email he sent me about the brackets that he said they're gonna be inserted in the columns. But I don't know if he meant it's gonna be attached to the column. What is his yeah, in his estimate, he said with 4 brackets to each column to secure a 4x4x6 post. So I'm not sure, but then when I emailed him to confirm something, he said the brackets were gonna be inserted into the column, so I'm quite sure of that. Power coating, Ron said, well, we probably want to have the power coating to prevent the rusting or anything. So Nelson said that he doesn't see any problem. He could probably get the power coating done. I think Dan Steele, does that when I one time asked them about that. So that's those two, and his is the 8,200 pricing. So, and then the last page of Nelson's, I actually went out there to the Midwest and went to these places and looked actually at the stone, but that's kind of if we went with Nelson and took the darker stone and with a limestone cap, that's kind of what it would look like. Only a little taller. Heartland also has kind of a gray color stone, a block that would work too. Now, when I was at Midwest, I was asking the guy he was mentioning about this limestone cap, and I go, okay, and he was saying how, kind of absorb some moisture. I said, okay, so what does that do, over time because of freezing and everything? And so he said, how long does it stand up? And he said they have a sealant, a clear sealant that you can put on there and kind of protect it, have it go longer. So I kind of helped me learn a lot of different stuff about this. So these two are the columns. Or pillar, the two estimates. Yeah. So I didn't know which, I kind of like Heartland. Because I like more of the tumbled look. But, I don't know if we're looking more like what the blocks are gonna look like. The appearance of them. Or the bill, as is, you guys okay with just like the inserting, like Heartland, inserting it into the columns, build it into the columns, or using the brackets instead?
Nelson is gonna put rebar and concrete inside of the columns, and Heartland apparently is not.
Well, because Heartland's blocks are bigger.
Okay,
Heartland's blocks are the,
I just wondered if, is that necessary or,
Um, has anybody thought about visibility where that sign is going?
Yes.
If it's 5 feet tall, it
Yes.
doesn't block vision.
we went out
we
this
set it up
Sunday,
out there and then, went from each side, looked at it, and
and
it's
we're,
good.
and we're cutting down the grasses.
Yeah.
out of the parking lot though.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's set back enough. Actually, we had talked to Kevin, and he actually came out
Yeah,
to make sure it was set far enough back and check the
Okay,
ordinances.
so it is checked.
It's checked, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
so-
above that electric box out there.
and it's like behind,
Yeah.
this side of the electric boxes that are there, and it's far enough back, as Danielle had mentioned about,
I
right?
still think it's gonna be hard to see. I was driving, I pulled out yesterday and. I'm sorry, what?
No, but yeah, go ahead.
I pulled out yesterday imagining where you guys put those things, and as you pull up the parking lot, you're looking that way, and that sign is right where you're looking. If it's 5 feet tall.
Well, we can always, we can move it further down the,
Well, or go to 4 feet or something like that, so that you've got visibility possibly over it. Cause
Yeah.
today I just happened to measure my car and where my eye level was, it was 4 feet 5 inches.
we can go out and check to see if that, but I think Ron and I kind of pulled up like we were gonna pull up in the
Yeah.
driveway heading out,
Okay.
and we kind of looked up, and I don't think it was.
Well,
I
if
mean-
you pull all the way up to the street, you're beyond it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. See, I thought it was I didn't know how close to the street
Yeah.
it was, but I just know that I pulled
And
out
it's,
a case.
it's 30, it ends up
State
being
park.
35 feet from the center of the street to the beginning of the sign. But I mean, the street's 11 foot wide, so you still got,
What? And actually, I think we were two inches beyond the 35. because
yeah.
Give the, we said, well, let's just move it a little bit further back this side of the electrical deal. I guess we could double check it
Yeah,
on the height, and we did mark with yellow paint where the start of the pillar that's closest to the road is gonna be. So we, to go out and check it, but that was one thing I think we kind of, check,
Yeah.
but we can double check that to see it. And I don't know, this has been going on for a while. I don't know if you just, want to say, hey, we like this group, but then just based on checking on the height to make sure that you can see it, or on
Oh,
the,
are you guys open to just showing the folks when they have time where you're talking about, stakes in the ground or something so they can pull in and out of the parking lot and see what they think? Just
Yeah.
one.
we,
yeah, we can do it.
we have the first pillar closest to the road marked with yellow where it starts and goes.
Maybe you can just put a tall stick right there so at least they'll know.
Oh, I still have my fake columns built. I told my husband we're not taking them apart until the meeting's done with, just in
Until the
case,
signs are in.
or at least approved, because then we know it's okay, just in case. So I can bring
So-
those back out and just, stick them there.
That'd be great if y'all could do that. I think people would appreciate that.
Okay,
Does anybody have any questions? Are we where we want to talk serious here, or what are people thinking, or?
Well, I have a question, are both proposals, the side of the posts are 5 foot tall?
yeah.
One company's gonna put a footing, the other one's not gonna put a
No,
footing?
they're both putting footings. Heartland's gonna do a 30 by 30 by 4, and then Nelson's gonna be a 22 by 22 by 4. So they're both having concrete bases. And then on the downslope, the base will be a little taller. It will be more than 4 inches because of the fact that,
Yeah, the
To make it
ground's like, it's like this. One column
Right.
needs to be higher than the other one.
Right, so bring them up to the level,
Yeah,
so, but you said one has rebar in it, one
the
doesn't.
column does. Because Nelson's using the, what is it, Versaloft? I guess it's a smaller size. So because of the extra height in the packet, there's a sheet, the second sheet of Nelson, it says in there for columns taller than 4 feet, a different insulation method has to be used, and you have to use rebar within the column to reinforce. So because it's 5 feet, they have to put a
Mhm.
Rebar and concrete to start, whereas Heartland's blocks are bigger size blocks, they're 6 inches by 16 inches by 13 inches. They're bigger, so I guess they don't need to put that.
Steel, vertical.
Yeah, they don't have to do the columns, they don't have to put the rebar and the concrete in there. Is what,
Mike, are you okay with that?
yeah.
Yeah. You're okay with that.
Oh, yeah, I just don't remember what side of the blocks that we're using. I mean, are the blocks that you're using are are you using the same color blocks to match the pavilion wall? Or are you using the same kind of blocks to match the columns on the building?
We can't get,
Because if you're looking at the sign for the building, the sign is, monument is not for the pavilion. You really
Right.
don't want to match the pavilion, you want to match the building.
Yeah,
well, and that's why Versalock would be matching the wall more also over by the pavilion, I believe, because aren't those Versalock blocks that they make the
Yeah,
wall?
they're also matches the same block that are used in the park behind us.
Yeah, whereas the other one is a matrix tumble, it's a bigger and it has more of a rough
Mhm.
side, front face to it. So it'd be not looking as
Right.
close to those walls.
We would look more like what's
More
on
this
the
way.
building itself.
I didn't realize we had columns, so I just looked.
Yeah.
I just got used to seeing them, yeah.
And are the columns out here, they more like a stone?
They're more of it's a full, a structure that was built and then it has a veneer on it.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they,
and we're not doing the veneer signing, we're doing the block stacked.
right,
Right.
yeah, that's what I've gathered.
Yeah. So it's not gonna quite match the building, which would be nice if we could, but it's, we'll get close to the coloring that can match to it. And when I talked to, the Heartland guy, and I mentioned about the, doing a veneer, the wood structure and veneer. And he was telling me, he goes, well, that's gonna would be probably more expensive, plus you got like 3 different vendors you're gonna deal with, the person who builds the structure, then you got the guy who does the stucco veneer, stuff, and so he said, probably more expensive than this, so. I thought, okay, well. So that's
does anybody-
why I said, like,
So, and Heartland is also the guy that is not gonna use treated wood.
right, we'd have to stain it,
Right,
we
okay.
can all come down and stain, not my problem.
Right.
A non,
But I do have extra timber
Oh,
from the
yes.
pavilion that I kept
yes,
for things like this. That way, if we did something, you can put that in there, and then you say it'll match the wood that we have around.
okay, so the bids we got for the actual sign, the green sign, is the width is 48 inches, 4 feet. So I guess the 6 feet length, so would you have any?
I have enough. You can probably do 2 3-foot pieces. You have to cut; they'll be cut in half because they're only about 3 foot tall. The ones that I have, maybe possibly maybe 40 inches.
Oh, so they wouldn't reach.
They're not a
between-
full 6 foot. No,
Yeah.
they're
But they would, so they would reach between the pillars that have
Oh,
to be
no.
48 inches.
no, not from pillar to pillar. No,
Right.
I thought you were putting them on the inside of the stone.
No.
You could mount your bracket to it.
Yeah, no,
I think we can figure out, right, I think we can figure out getting some 4x4s.
Yeah.
Up someplace.
cause if they put it in the block, insert like you were talking, maybe doing, then they have to keep cutting each little block and that adds labor and then.
then also,
Crazy.
we have an estimate for new, put lights on it, one on each side.
Yeah.
And then also we had to look at a new LED light for the flagpole, so long as they're digging it up and rewiring it all. The, to be a. 2 LED light, 1 LED light on each side of the sign, shining on the sign.
And then we have the bid for the 2 signs, so yes, I don't know what it is with them.
That's like right here.
Oh, yeah, there's another package of bid, yeah.
It sounds
So-
like we just need to finalize colors and some things like the wood. I mean, are we close enough that we can consider or any other questions or consider any type of motion on this? Or do y'all need more information, more time?
I mean, and we can put those. those temporary, columns up there, I can bring them here and stick them up there, and that way you guys can, but Ron and I can go back out and double, check
And
it.
I would suggest we maybe do that, spend a little more time on the color, a little more time on the wood, stain and all that. I mean, this is something that, unless y'all want to move on it today, it's not like a pressing moment that we have to do it now, or we can move it to another meeting, or, where are you guys at thinking about this?
Well, it's,
Going
Marina
up or-
and I are both gonna be gone here pretty soon, but, well, we can still, we'll still certainly see this through, if that's allowed, but.
Well, I think there's just two questions here. One, is everybody have enough information? And two, uh, do we have a anybody want to make a motion to move forward with this tonight?
I think we can thoroughly move forward on getting one of these two people at least lined up Saturday. We can, it's not gonna take a rocket scientist to pick out some colors, really, get it down to two and go, that's the one. I mean,
I think the biggest thing is to decide between, who's gonna put up the pillars, either Heartland or
right.
Nelson's.
Yeah,
That's the
we can
biggest.
always move it, the signage back some more, if we
Yeah.
have to move it back for clearing the visual, I mean, we have plenty of space to do that.
Heartland's is, what, $1,200 cheaper?
Yeah, 14 or so, yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tony.
So does anybody want to make a motion to approve either one of these quotes?
Yeah,
to move
I'll make
forward?
a motion that we go on with Heartland. They are $1,200 or $1,400 less, which that isn't totally everything, but I think they've done a little nicer job of the presentation of this, and we could set up the color of the rocks, whatever, but for now, these guys have done a lot of time and effort on it. I think I'll make the motion, we go with Heartland's bid for now.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, we have anybody else, discussion? I have one question for discussion. Are we approving the 6888368, or is there gonna be any more to that amount? From
That's
the number.
Yeah.
That, yeah,
Okay, so we have a motion and seconded to approve Heartland at $6,883.68. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Wow, there you go. Renita, Ron.
thank you so much.
There's just a question of the sign too,
Yeah.
the sign that we're gonna put in between it.
Yeah, so now if you look at that, behind the Reinhardt Electric, there's the view from the two people on the sign, the actual green sign. One from Rapid Signs and one from Instant Signs and Banners. Rapid Signs was nice, I just thought I'd try them as another person to check with. And I like them, number one, I kind of like it because they showed some pillars with a sign between it. So you have a kind of idea. They have a sign, Rapid Sign shows one that has the circle on the top and the bottom. And they have another one that just shows the circle on the top. There's two different prices for those, because we need more space for two circles. They also, Rapid Sign has the swirly girls or whatever that are on the circles aren't as, there aren't as many, they're kind of more of a basic one, which still looks nice. And then Instant Signs and Banners, they gave us one that, both double circle and single circle. They have more of what that we've always used, more of that curly Q stuff in the circles. Pricing on the 30x48 size, both people are same price, and that would be just with a circle at the top. The other one with a circle on the top and the bottom, Rapid Sign is $265 and Instant Signs is $230. The thing that I noticed on these things, so Rapid Sign has your size 36x48. It's made out of rigid aluminum. It's gonna, of course, printed on one side. And then it has additional lamination for added UV and scratch resistance. I did ask them how long the life of the sign would be. And they said it would be 5 to 10 years. Then you go to instant signs, 36 by 48. They use Diabond material, which I'm not sure what that is. You may know what that is.
I mean, I know that is.
I think that's, you know, what these other signs are. They got like two sheets of metal and then this little like corrugated cardboard in between them, but it's, you know, plastic or whatever, but I think that's what they're talking about.
They have no lamination on their sign. And then I went and got a sample of the vinyl lettering tape they would use. And these are the two colors we kind of picked out on theirs. And it seemed like the village has always gone with gold. But when we held these two up against, they had a nicely new dark green sign. Actually, the lighter cream color showed up a lot better than the
And
gold.
some of our signs in the parks are
Faded.
and some are white.
Yeah. So but those two on those,
Right.
I had my dealings with both.
Signs for gardens, that's the diet, that's the thing stuff.
Okay, yeah.
The
So do we have a preference here?
well, my dealings with these two companies, and I've never dealt with either one of them. Well, I did deal with the graphic signs on my flag labels for my flag poles, but that's been years ago. But to be honest, instant signs didn't seem as friendly or giving of information. It was almost like I had to pull teeth. And I thought, and I told them I was doing the Four Seasons, all that stuff, and I was just really kind of disappointed. Whereas Rapid Signs was, I went in there and told him what I was looking for, and here's the pillars, blah, blah, blah. And he actually came up with the idea, maybe the 4 foot wide, because I asked, what is a ratio sign per pillars this big or columns this big? And he kind of said the 4 feet, which at first I thought was too big, but now I think he was right. But anyway, but then he right away presented this drawing and his estimates on that. So I don't know. I just
So
unfortunately.
do you want to make a suggestion to us?
My opinion on this, on the two of them is the ones from Instant Signs, you know, the squiggly stuff on the top and bottom. It's a lot more than the one from Rapid Signs. It seems a little bit busy, a little bit overdone. I like the one from Rapid Signs better. It's not quite so. I mean, that one from Instant Signs, it's like that's all you see is all that
What?
squiggly stuff on the
And
top and
does that-
bottom.
Did the Lodge for Seasons kind of have a lot of that squiggly, that decorative thing? On their signage back in the day or something? It just seems like that's kind of reminds me of Lodge of the Four Seasons, but I can't remember. So maybe it's.
The one you're holding up in your picture next to the box signs is got a lot of similar stuff on it.
Yeah, that's the same as that one. That's the one with Instant Signs. Most of our
Well, I would
signs.
make a suggestion to us. I have one question. Are we only doing this on one side? Did we have that conversation?
Two sides,
There's
both
two
sides.
signs.
They just gave you.
Both
price.
sides?
Yeah.
This is a price, yeah,
Okay,
price per sign, yeah, so this is just one sign price, and so we'd have to double these prices.
okay, that's my question too.
Well, if somebody wants to make a suggestion or a motion, you can say, make a motion to not exceed, $600 or whatever. If there might be a little bit of changes before it comes up, but if someone feels comfortable about one or the other, I would say jump on it if y'all are okay.
So does anybody have a preference between the circle on the top or a circle on the top and the bottom? I mean, top and bottom,
That's
top and bottom, since that's kind of what we got now, or it doesn't matter.
You guys have been,
Okay.
in the
most
ditch.
of them are like this, top
Yeah.
and bottom.
I'm all for that.
Well, I would like to make a motion, I guess, to go with Rapid Signs on the 36 inch by 48. Which would then be times 2 for 2 signs. Printed signs. It's 12, 13, 35,
I
yeah.
would just throw, I would encourage you to throw a dollar amount in there just to say not to
Okay,
exceed.
I say not to exceed, I say 600, just to give us a little leeway. Not to exceed 600,
Is that a motion?
yes, that's the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion, more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wow, you guys knocked it out. Great
And then-
job.
Well, then the last
What's-
thing is the electricity. Do you wanna cover that? To be approved? or-
Absolutely, let's get it all done.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal from Rheingold Electric, put the lights in.
What was the number?
I have one question.
$1,520.
Now, that's to cover, Dave, that's to cover to furnish and replace a new LED directional floodlight for the flagpole, but that one's so old, it's ridiculous. And
Okay,
then,
Ron, how much
Oh.
did you say?
1620.
1,620.
because it's for the flagpole light. And then it's also to furnish and install a 1/2-inch PVC conduit and wire from the flagpole light to 2 LED lights for the new sign, for our new signage. So it includes a flagpole light and the other one. Now, Ron, does this quote include the light fixtures?
Yes.
Okay, good, I wasn't sure, okay.
So
Yeah.
Ron made a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Thank
Any
you.
opposed? Motion passed. Okay, what's next? Great, we're rolling them off here. Do y'all have any other things related to the signs that we need to talk about before we move on?
No, I think that
No.
takes care of it all. Ron,
All right, what's it?
Hmm.
Obviously, y'all spent a lot of time on this and got a lot of information to us to be able to move forward tonight. So thank you very much.
Renita spent a lot more time on it than I did.
Okay, Renita, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we're moving on to pedestrian pathways repairs.
yes, I'll take on that one. That I had met with a professional asphalt person who has walked it's approximately 1.3 miles. Basically, we were in consideration of going from Horseshoe Bend Parkway to towards the Cherokee and the Lynn Creek and the Case Point to the tennis and swim and tennis, I think they call it. And so it's approximately 1.3. The estimate, of course, came in much higher than what we were thinking, and in order to pursue it more on this, we really need to go, because it's over $1,000. We need to be able to get the numbers out there. So we need to get the bids, which again, I'm not sure of the protocol on that. That goes into the papers or goes into emails or whatever it does, so we can get out the bids. Okay, Ike was a bit involved on that too, so he kind of has some of the language that we need to be putting into it. How quickly can we roll on something like that, as in getting it out? Or how much time is there for?
Just depends on how much you're gonna break it down and how detailed you get for the request. But if a week,
Right. And again, there's some of it that needs just tore out, there's some of it needs to be overlaid, some of it needs to be sealed, possibly. There's some rough parts to it, and I don't know if the POA will help come in on that, help with that. I'm not sure what other entities, if any, that.
I suggest we ask them, they can say no, and we also ask the commissioners, ask the county. I mean, see if they say yes or no, if they want to throw some in the pot.
Right. Okay. So do we need, again, is this a motion thing? Counselor, is this something that we need to talk about for a motion to because of it?
So much to put it out public, yes.
Okay. Well, I can make that move.
What was
Put
that?
it out for public bid.
Oh, yeah, I'll make a motion, we put it out for public bids.
And I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion, all approved? Aye.
I'm sorry.
I have a question. Is that just the path on Cherokee? What about the ones on downside of Horseshoe Bend?
No, it was just on Cherokee. And well, I say Cherokee, but Cherokee goes to Lynn Creek, it goes to Case Point, it goes there. So, you know, it's again, we kind of started at Horseshoe Bend Parkway. And went towards the swim and tennis club. Or park.
Do we need to do anything with the rest of the paths?
Well, eventually, because I walked away from Bittersweet down to Chessman, the end of the Four Seasons. And they've got some pretty, they've got some pretty big cracks in it. But as far as it being torn up, no, nothing like parts of Cherokee.
This, you know, yes, eventually I would say so, Tony, but again, this one this one really needs some love. And
Okay.
more so than any other of the paths that we have here, so I think it's to try to take a smaller bite of it if we can.
Well, just a reminder, our last time we renewed our insurance, the agent was very adamant about repairing paths ASAP due to any liability. That was something that he was very serious about and really making sure that we would treat that as a high priority. So I don't know, there's some cracks on the other ones that we can just fill in just to get us to where we can say we've done something in case something does happen versus, you know, we don't do something and we knew it was bad and someone does get hurt and something does happen.
I get it, not look at those, Tony, I totally understand, you know, what you're saying, but I'm also trying to get. I don't wanna slow this locomotive down any, I'd like to sure get with Ike. And our village clerk to try to get this thing out, I think if we. You know, not to say that we haven't been trying to work on this for some time, but if we try to go for the rest of the 10 miles of paths that we have here, I'm afraid we'll never get rolling.
I don't want to stop what we just said go. Absolutely. I just think that there's a little bit more work here that we need to think about. And if it's nothing else, just patching cracks for now. Not tearing things up and resurfacing, but just
And the Bittersweet to Chessman, the second Chessman, there isn't any place that you could like really trip. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
bumpy. It's not where you could maybe trip on something. There's big cracks all the way across the whole pathway, numerous places. But I think
Yeah.
if we move on, like you're wanting to do the Cherokee, like move forward with that and get at least that done. If you do that today, I mean, this year or mid-year, whatever. And then, and tell the insurance company, hey, we're addressing this, the worst of the whole thing. And then that other section's the next phase of our thing. I would think that would be okay, because it's not
no,
anything like Cherokee.
that, you know, that one's not all that bad. There's, like I say, there's some cracks, but there's no tore up places.
Mm-mm. Or even where it's even like
No,
uneven
uneven.
or anything.
No,
I've
it's
never.
pretty good, you know, for not.
Not to say you shouldn't go clean it fix it
The
eventually.
resident that came in last week would say differently, he is from
Yeah,
down
where,
that
yeah,
side.
where was that at? I
He
can't remember
was
what it said.
talking about it and said he actually tripped and fell.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to find out where that's at.
I don't know how to say it anymore of just, can we lease, I mean, we got walking paths from the lodge all the way down HH and then down Bittersweet. And I would think that, I think we should just figure out how to at least fix some cracks on those paths if they need to be fixed. 'Cause
Tony,
it's
I'll
going
get
to take,
I'm sorry, Tony, I will get with that professional that I've been talking to. I just also met with him and us and, I'll have him. We'll walk some of those parts, see what else we need to do with that, but not make it
I would-
a thing, you know, I mean.
Because it may be less than 10,000.
Yes.
You don't, yeah, it
Yeah.
could be 2 or 3 grand or whatever, so it doesn't have to go to bid.
Yeah.
Just look at
that
it.
would be awesome, Dave. I'm not trying to, you know, make a big deal, but I guess I am trying to make a big deal. I just don't want something to happen as we already had one person fall.
No, yeah, that's great. I will, get back with him again to talk about that. In the meantime, the motion was made and approved to
Yep.
carry on with that, right? Okay. And,
Yep. All
okay.
good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Any more on the pass? If not, we'll move to new business. And the first one up is dog park insurance. I think I see Nancy in there. Nancy, do you want to talk about this? I mean, we do have the quote in front of us for $930.
Well,
It's
we sure appreciate it if you would cover it. As you know, we operate strictly on donations. And the majority of the work at the park is done by volunteers to save money. So to pay for insurance is about a third of our budget for the whole year. So actually probably more.
Well, we've been
A lot
doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
So,
And then that guarantees that since we pay for it, that we're covered.
Yes, you're named as the insurer.
we're listed on the policy.
Yeah, so I would say let's continue on. It's been a good working relationship, with us taking care of that in the past. And is this the same insurance company that we've been working through in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know when this happened, but when the dog park was originally formed, it was named the Horseshoe Bend Park with the Secretary of State's office. And then when Arnold Sandbothy was here, it was changed to the Village of Four Seasons Park. So that's its official name with the state.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's when you guys started paying for insurance, and if that was why it was changed. Alyssa Duba, is that right?
right.
Didn't remember exactly how that all transpired. It happened about 10 years ago, I'm thinking, something like that. So,
Someone like to make a motion for the $930?
I will make the motion that we pay this policy as we've done in the past.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Y'all opposed? Okay, Nancy, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for letting that.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have a quote for pavilion and updated outside security cameras, and I think Danielle, I think you have this. This
Sure.
one?
They came out last month and looked around to figure out what cameras to put on the pavilion as well as this side of the building. There's a camera out there now that's actually not in our network, so they're gonna put a better one out there. As well as fix the bathroom cameras because they just angle down and they're not helpful at all. I think what else? The cameras at the pavilion will be wireless, so it'll require a bridge. Sorry, I wasn't ready.
Sorry.
They're also, part of this bid is in the supply closet where all of the security camera stuff is housed, like the computer and the monitor stuff. To put a rack in there to get that cleaned up, so that way it's not strung everywhere, so that's on this also. I think that's all that's on this one.
Well,
Comes in at 9,960.07 for parts and labor and all that stuff.
So as we know that this is going to be, used more activity over in that area. This is something that seems like it makes sense to do. I don't know if anybody has any comments or suggestions on it.
I think we definitely need to get these cameras up and loaded ASAP.
Yeah, I agree.
And I will make,
You'll make the motion.
I will make a motion that we do. Allocate 9,960.07 for Paramount Systems Security Electric to get started on it.
And I will second that. And
Okay,
this
motion.
capital fund. Capital fund.
And does anybody have any questions?
Can I have a question?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. originally, all the cameras were on one network. And I know somewhere along the line, two of them got split off the network. Is this putting everything back on one
Yes.
network, right?
Yes, and then once it's all on one network, I will send you
Yeah, we'll have to
the
get it.
information so you guys can all.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be all on one
Yeah.
network and somewhere it got split somehow,
Exactly,
which I don't know how.
yeah, I can guess, but
Yeah,
yeah, it'll all be on one and then you guys will have.
that's what I
access.
thought, I just wanted to verify.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
Okay, great. Well, we had a motion, a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Any opposed? So the motion passed. Thank you, Danielle.
yes.
Okay, on to quote for concrete at Trillium Park. Mike, is this yours?
Yeah. So I put this out to 3 different local concrete contractors, only one sent it back to me. To put the curb around the inside of the timbers for the soft surface,
Oh,
because you have to have a fixed structure, so it'd be an 8-inch tall curb, 6 inches wide. And we're also adding a 6-foot extension to the parking area for a walkway to the, and then ADA accessible ramps to each location. That way the trash can is sitting in the mud can be on the concrete, and the bin sits there sitting in the mud, it'll be on concrete. So only one guy got it back to me. And it's under the 10,000
okay.
threshold, and he said he could do it as soon as we wanted to.
Oh,
So
good.
on the top of Trillium, I'm also in the works with the people who put down the soft surf and the park here. I gave you inventory what we have, and they're putting together what we need for those 2 areas in case we need more. And they're gonna give me a price to stop by, grab this stuff, and install the soft surface on their time. So that way I can focus getting the playground put together and taken out there.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
So I think time is of the essence for that, just because of what Mike was talking about. This company that was out of Wisconsin, they may all of a sudden have a job someplace and they're traveling through town, and we need to probably try to get that as quickly as possible. So I will make a motion.
And I'll
If
second.
Tony, if you are ready for that part, that.
Absolutely. Raise a motion.
I will make a motion for Bulldog Concrete of the Ozarks for $6,650 to get on with that project as soon as
Second.
possible.
Okay, I heard a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Any disapproved? Motion passed. Thank you, Ike. Do you have what you need, Ike, on that, right?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, air management. You guys should have a update from Dan McMurtry on the last hunt. I'm just gonna run through a few things, just what I pulled out of here. Number one, when he did the survey back, I think in October, it might have been in November, they found 52 deer per square mile. And that's something they always look at. If you look at the numbers, they removed 65 total deer, and the bucks were 43, the does were 22, which is interesting to see. And I think, we said whatever there they need to take out for us. It was the bucks were 65% of the takedown. The other couple of notes was that the lodge again gave us their room and board. And that was for actually 7 employees. So we do need to send out a thank you note to the lodge to continue that. Both Dan and I had conversations with the lodge, and they were very, very happy and for us to do this and support us. So with those 65 deer, there was a reduction of 14 deer per square mile. The next thing I said was 1,765 pounds. All that deer meat went to the Hope House. They were very excited to have that. They had to find some room because they didn't expect that much, but it was very well received. Now, Dan did something for us. He added 36 hours to this that we weren't charged. He brought in some people that because of the disease program, that was option made available to us. So that absolutely helped with this program. You guys can look through there for some other things, but I just kind of pulled out those points that I thought were somewhat of interest. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment or say anything, as I don't really have anything else to say other than we'll have to revisit this later on the year, what we want to do for next year's program. Any questions, comments? Okay. The next one is Pavilion Grand Opening. Is something that would be nice if we could get a small committee together to kind of come up with some thoughts and ideas. I think both Ike and Danielle have some thoughts that they have, but I think it's more important is to kind of look at a date, kind of a time frame to give us an idea of what we need to get done before then. So does anybody want to chat on that or have any suggestions or that's just my comments.
I think we can talk offline about it. I would say do something very similar to what we did when we did the soft ground
Yeah.
last year.
Into.
And, encourage the kids and adults or whatever, so.
Yeah.
Just gonna pick a date.
Yeah, is there a
Maybe pick
particular
a
date?
date, yeah.
So how about we can do that offline? We can pick a date, but if anybody has any feedback, please send it to Danielle and we'll go from there. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right.
Rain.
So I'm sorry, did someone say something?
No.
Okay. General discussion. The only thing I want to add on that is I think people know we have an election coming up on April 7th. And we have 3 people on the ballot. Luann is back on the ballot. Adam Tobridge is on there and Ron Murphy is also on there. So we have 3 openings because we have 2 awesome current trustees that'll be stepping down, and that will be Ron and Renita. So this is their last full meeting that they will have, but they'll be with us at the beginning of the April meeting as we.
So she froze up.
Stop.
There in the back.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There.
We
Pardon me?
lost it for a minute.
We lost
You
Oh.
froze up on us. Not your-
Did you hear anything?
No.
Yeah, pretty much all of it.
Okay, is Ron in the room? I heard you, Dave. I get it. I get it.
I know.
Well, what we like, I think Ron is in the room, right? Ron, wave your hand if I see you back there.
Which
We're
Ron?
talking about the new Ron.
Ron Murphy. Ron Murphy.
Yeah.
He's here.
You might not.
He's over by
I
my
didn't
desk.
see that hand. Could you just kind of give us just a little bit information about you, Ron? Do you mind sharing that with us?
Well, I grew up north of Columbia and I graduated from Hickman High School and then went to the service. Spent 6 years in the Army. Got out from Vietnam and moved to Nebraska. I started, had 2 trucking companies I ran for a while. I owned a Dairy Queen up in Lincoln, Nebraska. We sold that to Arby's. Yay. And then I went to work as a sales rep and driver for ABF Freight Systems. And I was there for 30 some odd years, retired. That's awful. And when I retired, my wife sat there and said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to move back to Missouri." So we moved down here in 2014. Love it. So I hope I can get something done up here on the board. I don't know. But we live right down there on Case Point. Matter of fact, you got a march for right by my house where the pavement's all.
Yeah, just so excited that you're fixing it out.
My wife walks the path.
Oh.
10 miles a day.
And walking it in the dark is very hazardous.
She leaves the house at 5 o'clock in the morning around the past. So,
Very hazardous.
so.
Yeah.
Well, very, I guess we'll know next week whether you're on the board or what.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I haven't read it yet.
I'd say your chances are pretty good.
It's just finding where they're gonna put me at, in mind being in your position.
Yeah.
We'll just.
Ron, thanks for raising your hand and being with us. So we'll see how the election turns out. Okay, we'll move on.
No,
Yeah.
I had something for general discussion.
Sorry. Okay.
I wanted to, say, number one, that, after I'm not a trustee, I will continue with Paul Rader, working on emergency management. I'll continue with that, doing that, helping him. And also whenever whoever the trustee is who is assigned the gardens to kind of oversee, I'd be happy to at least gently meet with them and just kind of point out a few things I've noticed about the gardens, FYI. I also, on the gardens, I did, I already mentioned that, forget that. Board of Adjustments, got the Board of Adjustments, guideline, or the general information in the applications all put together. I'm now in search of getting members. We need 5 members and 3 alternates. I do have 2 prospective members from my neighborhood that said they are interested. I gave them an application. I told them to, when they fill it out, turn it into Danielle. I am now in search. I mentioned this gentleman here, mentioned to him about, Jim Ott, about, the Board of Adjustments to see if he may be interested. So, I'm gonna ask Danielle to give him that, information sheet and application so he can read it and whatever. So if any of you guys have some people that may be interested, I've been telling, like, the 2 people I touched base with, I've told them that, it happens after the planning and zoning, possibly a committee. In the 18 years I've lived here, I think there maybe have been only maybe once the Board of Adjustments got called to, come to serve. So it's not like it's something that's a time consuming project. So anyway, that's what I've been telling people. So that's kind of where that's standing right now. And one other question I have, the last meeting we had, I had mentioned something about giving like a summary of what the village did accomplish during the year to give to the POA for their newsletter. And it was suggested that we don't do that, to let the POA either send somebody here to, find out, and they decide what they would want to put in. I took that to the POA meeting in January, because they didn't have a February meeting in January, and they said, okay, they said, but they were wondering, they asked me to come back and ask if the village trustees are okay if they would maybe put like a reference our link, the village's link to the website in their newsletter or their website, just saying further information, go to the village, kind of the link that Danielle has, which and I figure it's okay, but I wanted to ask you guys just so I could say I did. So the other one, Andy, if they want to put our link, the village's link in their newsletter, that's not an issue that anybody would have, because we kind of put links to different entities on our website, so would that be okay? That they just put village website on there?
I wouldn't see that there's
A problem
an issue with that. Counselor, do you see anything with that?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. Okay, that's it.
Well, that's not it. That was a lot. And thank you for doing all that and being with us again, because I know especially the emergency management, you put together the planning and zoning, all of that was very, very helpful. And it wasn't something that, a lot of people wanted to do, Renita, and you stepped up. So there's been a couple of things like that. And thank you very much for raising your hand. Continuing on. Any other general discussion? If not, Todd, you have something for us?
I may be called on to discuss Don's topic, so I'm gonna reserve most of my comments other than to say that, I did make a comment at the last meeting about the number of tickets. There was an increase since then. I want to acknowledge, Lieutenant Elkins' efforts towards that. We have seen an uptick, Judge Gilly even commented that we had a somewhat historic number of tickets during his administration and adjudication as municipal judge. So he even remarked that we had more tickets, so that's a good sign that more efforts are being concentrated towards that. With respect to that, I'll reserve my comments because I'll be speaking up on some other stuff.
Okay, thanks. Danielle, you have anything for us?
Not really, I'm waiting for the quote for the boardroom stuff. We have some CDs coming due. Before our next meeting, but we'll still be in the window for that, so I'm just gonna wait, cause we'll probably change more then. And I don't really think I have much else.
Well, I do want to say, and I know the other trustees appreciate it too, but we kind of just went through that camera and security thing. I know from talking to you, there's a lot of work to get the people that we needed to do the work as well as just figuring out what we needed. And I know you spent a lot of time on that. So thanks for getting us to where we could actually do something pretty quick.
You bet.
Okay, now we're in the comments from the visitors. If anybody would like to approach the board with any questions, comments, at this time, please come up, write your name on the podium there, and we will welcome you to come talk to us.
Don's already on the list. You wanna-
Okay.
Danny.
Don, you want to come up to the podium? and-
I-
Off from here if I can. I mean, I talk a lot.
Okay, and can you hear him if he sits in the chair instead of goes up to the podium?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
You can use that one, Todd. That's perfect. Because you're gonna need one also, sir.
What about you want to know about that? You know where this gonna happen.
Go ahead.
We still there? I guess I'm just looking to get accommodation to well, my stuff pretty much stuff that it says, so. Just got a map where I want to be able to go if I can. There are 2 lakes just right down the street from my house. I'll go see friends, stuff like that. I got severe neuropathy through my legs. And my feet feel like they're on fire. Just walking from that truck to here. I mean, I literally feel like your feet are on fire. So I can't go out and walk the neighborhood and do the stuff everybody else does. I've talked to ADA. They actually give me the information like on the second page, saying that I have the right to pick what I want to, go around on. And so that thing on page 2 is actually on ADA's website. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I talked to actually his boss, which is a real nice man. And he told me that the state of Missouri is right down the process of coming out with a law for golf carts, just so you guys know. It's not gonna do with my deal.
House bill.
What's that?
Not House bill back to you, 39.
Yes, like I just give it to him. And that's supposed to be passed by I think, 8th, which is gonna allow golf carts in the whole state of Missouri. So
Which is similar to what you guys were gonna pass. On roads 25 miles an hour and under is what they're looking at.
yeah.
Keep
So-
in mind, that would not be allowed to be on Cherokee or Bittersweet.
I bet you can't see it because I did a map of the area I want to be in. It's just not around my house. It's not very far of it. It ain't like I want to go cruising down, go to wherever. I'm just going to go in my area to the 2 little lakes that are right by my house and just go visit some friends here and there. That's it. No, I'm not asking for the world. So, I mean, there's golf. You want to know the truth? There's golf carts running all over the place right now. Matter of fact, Sunday I seen a UTV come right down the street, right by your office here, turn left on Horseshoe Bend. So, I mean, the ordinance you guys got ain't doing nothing. Everybody's still out there running.
I don't think we have ordinance.
They,
We don't.
they voted, they voted not to pass it in January.
Right. I know that.
But then golf carts then are not allowed for state, I mean, if there's no ordinance, is it still that they're not
Yeah.
allowed?
Correct.
They can be ticketed, okay, yeah. Yeah, gotta keep an eye on those ATVs right now. Golf carts.
I saw one day too, I wasn't in my truck car either, but. And just like you're saying.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, man. I just want to be able to live life and enjoy myself. And I mean, you know, everybody else could have golf carts. And I mean, in my condition, I need something what am I gonna do? Drive one of those little, you know, things for old people and go down the goddamn road? You think about being serious. They can hardly move. I mean, that thing's more dangerous than anything. So. But I'm not asking for the rule, I just want to be able to, you know, do what I need to do. If I could walk, I wouldn't need it.
And you said all your golf cart has all the
It's got
safety deals.
Yeah, the pictures I saw,
it's got everything, believe me, it's got.
and you even had the insurance card that I saw.
I got that's all in there. I got insurance cards, cover everything 100%. By the way, golf cart full coverage insurance on the thing's like $63 a year. So that's cheap.
Most people don't have that.
And again, I won't be in your trouble. I won't be, you know, out there. If someone comes, I'll just get the heck over. There's plenty of side road there. And that kind of thing. So that's it.
I would say my 2 cents on the deal. I can't keep it for I think. I'm personally against ATVs, golf carts, anything on the road. That's just me. But my thing is, if you're gonna allow him, I think you should pass the ordinance. And just that way, it's open to everybody, not, we allow this one guy. And now we're stopping others, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I ask.
So you,
If you're gonna allow one, you need to pass your ordinance, like you guys were talking about, 25 mph and under, just like the state's actually looking at.
is the state doing 25 and under?
Yeah.
Is that what they're looking at?
That's what they're looking at, yeah. But my thing is, if you allow one, you need to allow all of them with the ordinance, that's just my 2 cents.
But our ordinance, as it was written, read 35 and under, right?
Yeah,
I thought it was 25.
No, it was ours was 35, which if it would have been
25.
30 or 25, you know, I think it probably would have passed.
I mean, I know in the closed sessions we had back.
Yeah,
Whatever. I know me and Abe at the time were talking 25 if you're gonna do it.
right.
I didn't remember. I thought it was 25.
Yeah, you know, my issue with it was, you know, Cherokee and Bittersweet.
Exactly.
You know, I think if, you know, like I said, if it was 25 or even 30, I
And where he's talking about
would
going,
have passed.
it'd be all in the 25 and under.
Yeah.
You can look at the map. I should get in the map. I mean, just, you know, my house,
Yeah.
that's over 2 lakes.
I know what you're talking about.
Then I go down that pool, I go in that pool down there by Ron's house.
And I don't know if you want to jump in or not. I guess my question is this something we can actually allow this without an ordinance?
Yes, so. If you want to hear the full legal analysis, you can address him as a special accommodation if you want. 25 miles an hour is the posted speed limit if there is no sign. So, I don't think that the ordinance that I drafted specifically said 35, 25 or anything, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't have it in front of me. I think I left it open, because it defaults to 25 mph if there's no signage. With respect to Don's topic, the code adoption is purely discretionary on your part. You do not have to do it. There's no mandate that you have to do that. You start with that. His ADA request is to be taken one at a time. They're to be examined individually. And you can deny it if the device can't be operated safely in those locations. If use would be fundamentally different from what you've got in place now, or if there are legitimate safety concerns. Those are 3 reasons why you can deny it. And Don and I went back and forth on a few emails, so
that you've got to make a distinction between facilities and public roadways. So this is more of a traffic topic, which is very discretionary for municipalities until unless the state steps in and says this is how it's going to be statewide. So with respect to Don's topic, if we didn't have an ADA accommodation requirement in this facility, would have to, that's mandated. But with respect to streets, it's not mandated. What Don gave us today in the literature indicates that it's a little bit more of that tone that you have to make those accommodations. But it also gives the same language in what Don gave us and says, unless legitimate safety concerns prevent it. So same thing on what Don handed us today. You have to do an analysis to determine whether there are safety concerns. So, and then underlying all of that is, does Don need this as a necessity for mobility? Are there any other alternatives that Don could use? And he mentioned the scooters and different things like that, which are problematic. They don't go very fast. And they're certainly probably less safe on public roadways than a golf cart is. So, the process that you're supposed to address these is individually. You're supposed to evaluate the request individually, determine if the use is reasonable and safe, and then consider any alternatives such as other devices provided for him, public transportation, things like that, or limited routes. He's asking for a limited route. So that's certainly something you can address if you choose to do that. But it's, again, a fallback to it's purely discretionary in the department whether you do that or not.
Majority of golf carts out there don't run over 20 miles an hour. See, turn miles like I did.
To clarify, to clarify the ordinance, to clarify the ordinance that we had last time. Streets, what we did is we said you could drive a golf cart on a street that had a speed limit of 35 miles an hour or less, but not to exceed 25 miles per hour on those roads. That's what Todd provided to us. That's what we had in our ordinance.
So that doesn't eliminate Cherokee, Bittersweet, and Horseshoe Bend Parkway from the fire station west.
And I do think there was something in there that said, not.
Unless you-
Should get part.
Yeah, maybe it's,
I got to move you here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's drawn up. Just stay off from HH.
yeah, but what about Bittersweet and Cherokee?
Bittersweet,
I don't think it
They're
mentioned
not
that.
it's
now you guess not in here.
But so, you know, that was, I mean, some of our concern with it is especially Cherokee, well, Bittersweet too, because you get down by you're an enemy down there, you know, there's a
They need
lot.
more enforcement on here and some of the cars come down here than they do on the golf carts.
Yeah, that's
These
true.
cars, I mean, they run by our place 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you got dump trucks, cement trucks, and then, you know, in the summertime, you got a lot of traffic on those roads.
But then we got a couple of yahoos with pickups who they use it as a burnout system down there off from right down from us.
I think some of the rationale of using Bittersweet and Cherokee was so they could at least get to like the city parks, get to the pavilion, get to the swimming pools. When you keep them off of those roads, the feedback we got from the group that came to us was, but you really can't use them. But that was something that they wanted to make aware that you're limiting where they can actually take advantage of the amenities on those roads. So that's why that was in there as well. Okay.
I would put mine into this, Don, you know, everybody likes their wheels, their legs, you know, everybody wants to get around. I get that, we all get that. I think that in this particular case, I think to allow purposes of disability or handicap or whatever it may be, you know, one particular person to do it, others could possibly whatever else. I see it more as what I would call, and I'm pretty sure you've heard the word patience. I think, you know, two of these people are out, not like they're not, you know, they've done their trustee due diligence and everything else. It was a very close vote. There's other people coming in. I don't understand why the big rush for this is right now, except for you wanna get moving on it. I feel like that if it is granted for you to do it, it's just opening up a cold can of worms. Just like the sheriff's department said, if we're gonna do this, I think we need to look at the court or the ordinance again. Not necessarily to disallow you on this particular thing, but I would like to open it up to everybody if that is indeed what we decide as a group. If it does not pass, if we do decide to bring this up to the party again, which can happen very quickly, I think, then then maybe there is a special consideration or whatever has to be done through the state or however that's done. I'm not
Why
trying
can't we do it
to,
now?
because I don't want, I personally don't think that I want to do it now because we're talking about one person. I'm talking about the community,
I
okay?
just understand that, but I'm 88 appliance, I mean, you guys have gotta help me out here.
Let's
Well-
do this. I think Dave's exactly right. And let's just add this to the April agenda. And right now, we cannot make a motion on anything because it's not an actually listed item, and I don't think we're ready to do that. But I would think, let's get it on the April ballot for April agenda for next month or April, and let's have a conversation. I think Dave's exactly right. The patience is very key here, and this is something that it's going to take some time. This is a big deal. I know there's some safety concerns, and then there's some rights of people just using them. But let's. We heard you, Don, and I appreciate it. I think you've helped us kind of get an understanding of what you wanted. I think this is kind of the first time that you've addressed the board for us. That's why I kind of asked you to just come in and share your information and give us a chance to talk about this the next meeting. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Dave said it perfectly about just be patient, give us some time. We've come a long ways on this, and Todd can tell you, Todd, how many years have we been talking about this?
Well, I've been on 3 separate occasions over the last decade, I've drafted the ordinance, so it's come up pretty consistently.
So it's time to.
I sat through them all, man. In December, you guys come out here and you guys all agreed to it, and then let's make a few changes on it. And so she made the changes, and you guys came in here and threw the thing out. The last meeting, so that I've been in through the 3 or 4 meetings of these golf carts already thinking they're gonna pass. And you come in here with high hopes and then boom. Then you got people on board that live in places that run UTVs and golf carts. And we can't do it over here.
Well, let's
I
Todd,
wanna
just give us some time. I appreciate your comments. I understand your frustration, and I know you've done well in getting the information to us. Just give us a little bit more time here. If you want to, come back at the April meeting and you can hear that discussion as that. If you want to come back and say some more things based on what happens at that meeting, that would be very appropriate. But I appreciate you coming in, and I know this is something you want. Just give us a chance to see how we can get where we need to get.
I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Luann and I do live in the Village of Four Seasons. Hope everybody understands the difference between the POA and the Village of Four Seasons are 2 totally separate entities.
And you guys have your own POE over there.
We have
You
our own
guys-
HOA. That's not the Village of Four Seasons. The Village of Four Seasons is the city.
I understand how it works.
And Luann and I both live in Village of Four Seasons.
And
Yeah,
I am
the
not on
states,
board of the HOA.
Yeah, we live in the estates.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on. Dave, thanks for your comments. Everybody, thanks for the comments. We're going to move on now. Is there any other comments from the visitors? If not, we're going to move to the next item, which is our landscape consultant bid opening. This is something we put out to bid. Basically, this is a landscape consultant that we're looking at bringing in to help us with the providing directions and oversight and to working with Nelson and really kind of providing direction. And I appreciate Renita's comment about, she'd be willing to work with this person on any transition of information. So I think, Danielle, you have some information for us. I think you have, I'm not sure how many bids you have, but at this time, if you could tell us what you have and open the bid and read it to us, that would be great.
We received one from Trusted Home Services. There's a nice letter included. Do you want me to read that, or do you want me to make copies so you all can see it?
Is it long?
Yeah, it's 2 pages.
Whatever the board wants. Y'all want to,
Your conversation is ringing in here. Jimmy,
Do you guys want copies of this? I can step out super quick and make some copies.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nancy. Hang on a second, John, we're.
Good.
I guess they didn't get far enough. What was
So
that?
just to,
If we want to hear this.
Look at it.
so what we can do here is we can read here what Daniel has for us. At that time, we can consider making a motion and doing it in open session, or if we think this requires some more conversation in a closed session, then we can go in a closed session, have that conversation, and then come out and make a motion. So just keep in mind we have those options because we do have an agenda item as a closed session that we could use if we needed to.
What's amazing, how the dog park going? Everyone's moving the dog park?
We're going to, we bought, a volleyball set. I'm sorry, not volleyball, a tetherball.
Oh, okay.
For dogs.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna put it in a tire with concrete so we can move it.
Oh,
if we
good.
need to. We've got somebody that's gonna come in with, like a little bobcat and spread out. Some of the mulch is washed down the hill.
Oh.
And it pushes up against the fence, so we have some brackets to reattach the fence to the posts. Just some spring cleanup kind of things, but
Yeah, you guys know anything about getting some of those old Josie things that some of the dog parks have? I know, I was Osage Beach was just the other day, and drove by it. And they had 1 or 2 little things, but I think we had not space really over there.
well, we used to have a couple things over there and the dogs never used them.
Oh.
That's something that parent, the person has
Thank you,
to
Village
run
Park.
through. And nobody wants to do trust, I mean, everybody comes and it's social time for the people and the dogs play and we sit and talk, so.
Okay, we're back on you, Donnie.
Did you receive it?
Daniel, is Danielle in there?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, why don't you just read with the 2 letters, hand those out to the trustees, and then why don't you just read actually the bid information and the response? Is that okay?
Did you say you had more than one bid or?
No, just this one. This is the only one we received. I don't understand what you're asking me to read, Tony. The bid information?
Yes.
I don't have that with me. I didn't come prepared. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
have,
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the actual quote or the response for what the person is
it's
bidding
very
amount.
detailed. Okay, it says, Dear Village Trustees, this is in response to the project 2026-1 Village of Four Seasons Landscaping Consultant. My company, Trusted Home Services, is a Missouri LLC providing landscaping, consulting and installation services, home checks, remodeling, design, and project management. I am also a resident of the Village of Four Seasons and am familiar with the various parks and gardens in this proposal. Recent projects I have completed include the estate subdivision entrance as well as landscaping design and maintenance of all common areas within the subdivision. 35 Trevino Court in Four Seasons, private resident, and 45 Windjammer Estates Drive, Village of Four Seasons. Pictures and contact information of these projects are attached. The past year, I assisted the village with general fertilization of several of the gardens in the effort to assist plant growth and health. This involved work at 10 of the 11 locations. Based on my familiarity with these locations, here are a few of my suggestions. Removing the lambs here and any ground covering, consider replacing with flowering perennials that bloom from fall to or spring to fall. At Trillium, since this is such a small garden, install decorative rock. This garden has multiple perennial bulbs, which makes the use of the weed barrier problematic. During rock installation, we would treat with pre-weed preventative, as well as pulling weeds as needed during the year. Review the small rock at the village hall. This is an area that likely gets maintained with leaf blowers. My experience is that these more powerful blowers will actually move smaller rock and mulch, mixing them together. Weed barrier, edging, and larger rock would be more maintenance friendly. For example, in the estate subdivision, I removed numerous yards of mulch from common areas and plant beds and replaced with weed barrier, rock, and edging where needed. The upfront expense seems to pay for itself after 3 years, mainly due to less maintenance, no yearly mulch and installation costs, and the ease of leaf blowing, etc. Trusted Home Services is a business licensed in the Village of Four Seasons and attaches a copy of my general liability insurance. I have no employees and do not carry workers' compensation insurance. On all current projects, I use only over-the-counter retail fertilizers and such for general consumer use. Missouri has requirements for use and licensing of restricted use pesticides. In rare cases where it may be necessary to use such chemicals, I recommend using a licensed pesticide applicator. My plan of action and proposal includes initial review of each location with a written proposal to the trustees. Review to include initial thoughts on health of existing plants, probable issues with hardscape and irrigation. Follow up with on-site review if needed with primary trustee. Suggestions of perennials and annual plant selections, design, installation, and fertilization. Suggestions for hardscape, weed barrier, and rock conversions, including rock selection options. Weekly or bi-weekly visits to each location to deem necessary and document on the attached spreadsheet entitled Garden and Parks Inspection. Fertilization schedule to be determined depending on plant selections. My rate is $40 per hour. This includes my travel costs, time to locations, review of sites, proposal development, and any work involved at site. The total cost per the contract period would be contingent upon the trustees' approved scope of work. At that time, an estimate of overall cost can be provided. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss my skills, how my skills align with your specific needs, and to provide a more detailed breakdown of my proposed approach. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing from you.
I'm sorry, what was the hourly amount?
$40 an hour.
Okay, thank you.
If you received this, I sent it to you while I was making copies.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just gonna ask the first question is, do we need to go into closed session to have any further discussion on this? Or,
No, that's fine.
pardon me?
I said, I didn't think so, but
Okay, so are we in a situation where we have enough information that someone would like to make a motion or have any other questions or comments?
Would this person then would coordinate with Nelson's, right?
Yes,
To do the actual,
yes.
um, whatever, is that how we want to work this?
I think that's what the original thought was.
Yeah.
That this person would be kind of the liaison or
Yeah.
consultant between the trustees and Nelson's.
Yeah.
To make sure that everyone's on the same page, and this person would be dedicated to Parks and Gardens to
Yeah,
help get.
yeah, that's why.
I'm assuming the purpose
That's why I understand.
for this is to get the trustees, whatever trustees or one trustee or whatever else, out of the loop of having to do that type of stuff, right? I mean, I know the pay is really good here, but I think the idea is that, we're not here to have to do all the work.
Yeah, I found that, number one, because I put flags out, I know there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Irrigation, so, but it does, with the other activity, especially last year that took place at the village, because we were very busy, the village was very busy, other topics, which good topics. But it kind of, was harder than to really try to focus more on the gardens, trying to, and I look at stuff, I have ideas. But yeah, I think a position like this is good, so that it relieves the trustee from a lot of that post
Yeah,
watching
you
stuff.
need to, the irrigation too requires a lot of maintenance, if you don't go check it every week, there's always a head blowing off or something leaking somewhere.
Well, and also adjusting the irrigation, the
pattern.
timing of it, because sometimes
Yeah.
in the spring, you don't have to have it go that long.
Right.
Summer, you have to have it
go
go
every
on.
day.
And Nelson did it, but because they're busy with all their stuff.
But we
They
gotta call them and
sometimes-
tell them that, or well, somebody still has to call them, and tell them to do it, I suppose, but.
Yeah.
Um,
I think one time you went out and changed it.
yeah,
some of
yeah,
yourself.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so,
just, needs to,
I
someone
agree.
needs to keep an eye on it probably every week, otherwise.
And-
Some of the stuff gets overwatered
and to try to improve the gardens that are there, make them more, like perennials, more sustaining themselves. Is a good idea, and that way kind of perks, because the Cherokee garden, Horseshoe Bend and Cherokee and Bittersweet Gardens look very nice. So trying to get the other ones, I discovered myself when I went to go plant some bulbs here by the magnolia tree out here in the fall. It's like all pure clay, so some of it's gonna be having to determine what kind of soil and dirt and that kind of stuff, and yeah, but I think it's a good idea, because to help build those gardens. And, make them so they can be pretty much self-sufficient if you get a lot of drought resistant plants, so I think it's a great idea.
Well, I've certainly been an advocate for having some, like Ike's position. Ike he's the buildings and grounds, and he's, not only just our building inspector, but he also goes to different types of meetings and everything else, and so he wears a lot of hats, and I think if every hat that we can take off of ourselves, and pay somebody that can do it, and somebody that is qualified to do it, I think
Right.
we're ahead of the game. We can't do all this stuff. We
Yeah,
don't
and I
need to
totally-
do all
yeah,
this stuff. This is a little village, and
And I
we
totally
need to
agree.
have somebody do it that knows how to do it
And has
can-
an interest and.
and the interest to do it. So that's all I have to say.
Ready to make a motion to approve this bid and to move forward.
I make a motion to approve the acceptance of the bid received by. Trusted Home Services. To be the landscape consultant for the village. At
We have a second?
$40.
Do we second it before we discuss it?
I think we kind of.
Well, before we
question.
vote,
Okay.
no, well, go ahead.
Well,
Oh, wait.
To reach discussion, you have a second.
that's what I will second that.
May
Okay, we have a motion made and second.
I interject? I have no doubt that this young lady is very confident. I think she comes from a very good stock. And her presentation is very thorough. You may want to think about putting a budget number, so that your expectations are the same.
It's kind of where I was at, Todd. I don't know, wasn't thinking about a budget, but I guess I was looking for an estimate on what she thinks that this would come out to per, I don't know, month
Or how many hours?
or how many hours, or, you know, it's kind of open booky, and it's kind of an open book kind of a job. So I'm not looking for a lockdown, nail down, or whatever kind of a thing. I think, you know,
Basically, what I understand what you're trying to do is put together a convenience dispatch, so that the village trustees don't have to address this
That's-
annually. Just maybe
yes.
range or something, so she has raised those expectations, how much she could.
Yeah. And I don't know that I'm asking for a budget. I guess I'm just asking for an estimate on what sort of time would this, I mean, is this a 10-hour a week job? Is this a 20-hour a week job? Is
That
that?
that'd be something to discuss with her on that, because sometimes it'll depend on
It's gonna
her
vary,
Thank you.
it's gonna vary from,
season to season and.
yeah,
And if you just wanna say, okay, in discussing, like you said, but, I mean, how much expense you want the village wants to do, would be just say, hey,
So,
just do it out twice a week.
Dave,
Yes.
how about this? Once we get all the new trustees, we'll appoint a trustee to oversee this person and work with this person. And have them, you know, look at some of that. I do know it's going to be a little difficult because we've never had this before. I mean, there's no history here to say, well, in the past it's been this. And I don't think we're at a stage to really know what needs to be done, but I think we could have that trustee and then bring stuff to us
Yes.
on, you know, what needs to be done as things come up.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, I have seconded it and
Okay, we have a motion made, seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, how about we do a roll call on this one,
Yep.
Danielle?
Ron West,
yes.
Dave Purdue,
yes.
Luann Rock,
Abstain.
Renita Jones,
Yes.
Okay. So the motion passed. I think this will definitely be some lessons learned here as we work through this, and keep in mind, we can always say, you know what? We've kind of exceeded some monies here we didn't think, you know, can we cut back or do whatever? But I think this is an opportunity for both sides to kind of get together and learn what this is going to look like, and then we'll have a better understanding next year of what to expect.
And I think too, it'll help keep a steady attention to the garden, however, whatever level it is for this landscaping consultant. At least the gardens are being, you know, there's a steady attention to that, to keep moving on, improving this or
Yeah.
changing stuff. I think
Sometimes they get kind of weedy and you gotta call Nelson and tell them, you know, hey, you need to take care of this, take care of that. It's somebody's gotta keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think that.
Keep in mind, there will be a learning curve on this as a person gets
yeah.
up to speed.
That's okay.
Okay, great. With that, I think I'm at the end of the agenda. So our next, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Our next meeting is April 22nd. At that time, we will recognize Ron and Renita, their service here, as well as swearing in the 3 new trustees, as well as swearing in the clerk and the deputy clerk at that time. So with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion to adjourn the meeting
I'll second it.
at
Okay,
7:32.
second. All approved? Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Hey, you guys, when you
Thanks,
walk out the
Andy.
door, take a look at that lighted pavilion over there.
so yeah.
All right, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Tommy.
It's randomly going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw you.
Bye.
It's